Hello.
Things move fast in the electric car world, don't they? What I mean is that I'm quite excited because this year we will see more new models of electric cars go on sale in the UK than we've seen in the past decade.
Really?
Yes.
Is that true?
It is true. Would I lie to you?
Wow. I bet that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. But what it means is, what do? Do you make the switch now, make the jump, or do you wait for the next shiny new thing to come along?
Yeah, and we've actually got two very shiny new things here. It's two cars that have caused quite a lot of fuss on electrifying.com, and we noticed that because of all the comments and the click-throughs on YouTube. It is, of course, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which I struggle to say every time I say it. I can't say it. Hyundai Ioniq 5, and this, the Skoda Enyaq.
Now, I'm really excited to get these two cars together because the Enyaq was our family car of 2021.
Yes, it was.
But when we made that decision, we hadn't driven the Ioniq 5, which is quite hard to say.
You're doing it as well.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be really interesting just to compare them back to back and see, is this still our family car of the year? Because actually, they're very similar. Similar price, similar battery size, both roomy, spacious, family SUVs. So, share a lot, don't they?
Yeah, they kind of do the same job. So how are we going to tell the difference?
In my favourite way.
Drag racing?
No! Spec fight. Get your spec out.
Right, luckily I have come equipped and I tell you what, let's start with the basics. The Skoda starts at £32,000 for a basic one, but that's after the plug-in car grant. So this actually will come in under that 35 grand cap, which means you get another £2,500 off in the UK.
But come on, how much is that one?
Okay, this one's a bit different because this is a sport line, and if you notice all the chrome stuff's been blacked out. So this one, and let me check, is £42,900, which is slightly more money.
Okay, but this is still slightly more again because this is the ultimate edition.
That's a lot of gadgets.
It is a lot of gadgets, £45,000. There is a less expensive model with a smaller battery, but that's £37,000. So it misses out on that UK government grant.
So you don't get the money off.
Yeah.
Okay, what about battery and range? The Enyaq actually comes with two battery sizes. This is the bigger one. It's a 77 kilowatt hour battery, and guess how much range it gives me?
I don't know, but I think you might be about to tell me.
327 miles, which is a lot.
It is a lot. Slightly smaller battery on this. This has got the 73 kilowatt hour battery.
Right, yeah,
there
that's
is a
what it
smaller
says.
one as well.
Yeah.
Range is a little bit less too.
Yeah, it's less, isn't it?
Just under 300.
It's so close to 300.
Just under 300.
You're just unlucky there.
Let's move on now, okay? Because my car has got a trick up its sleeve.
What is that?
I want to talk about charging.
I don't want to talk about charging.
I want to talk about charging. Talk to me about your Enyaq.
It's very, very good for charging, actually. This car has a 125 kilowatt charger.
Does it? It's really good, that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really good.
Do you want to put any sort of facts around that? In fact, how much you might have to pay for that option? 400?
You have to pay £440, otherwise it's 50 kilowatt hour standard, but I think it's worth it.
Okay. Let me just talk to you about this one. This has got an electrical charging system, the kind of which you would normally find on the Porsche Taycan or the Audi e-tron GT, charges at 800 volts, which is really, 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 really quick. So it will charge at speeds of up to 220 kilowatts. Do you know how long it takes to put 60 miles in this car?
It's not long, is it?
Okay, if you can get onto one of those really quick chargers that you see popping up everywhere.
The 350s?
Your 350s, 5 minutes. I'll be leaving you behind. I'll be off on my way.
I have had wheeze longer than it would take to put 60 miles of charge into that car.
You always give too much information, don't you?
Well,
just
it's
a
true.
bit too much.
I mean, I would. It's also, that is fantastic. And that 800 volt system is standard on all UK cars. So you get it, whichever Ioniq 5 you've got, that's what you get.
I win.
You keep winning and I don't like it. What about something I know I can win on? And that's space. Now, something I like about both of these cars is that they were designed from the ground up to be electric, so there's no kind of space for a petrol or diesel engine, and that means you get much more room for people and things, and both of these cars are actually quite big. Even if you've got really tall kids or you take leggy passengers a lot, they will cope with everything, won't they?
Leggy passengers like me, you mean?
You've got legs. I mean, you actually do have legs.
Let's talk in litres. Let's be specific.
Oh, I hate litres because they don't mean anything.
But the global car industry talks in litres. So the boot in the Hyundai is 531 litres, or 1,591 litres with the seats folded.
That's not bad.
Basically, it's pretty big. It's a bit shallow, but big.
That's pretty big. The Skoda here wins again because it comes with 585 litres in the back with the seats up, which is massive. But then, if you drop those rear seats, it says here that it has 1,710 litres with the seats down. Now that basically makes this like an an Alcantara faux suede van, which I think they had in the 70s, and I would still like now.
He gets no better, does he?
There's a lot of litres.
Let's talk about quality. So I think in terms of quality, the interior on the Ioniq 5 is really, really hard to beat. It is beautiful. It's also roomier in there as well, I think. I don't know whether that's just because it's got the lighter interior, but
it's quite broad in the beam, isn't it?
Yeah.
So and it's actually got what feels like quite a big windscreen. Mm-hmm. So it feels light and airy and quite big.
It does. I think both of these cars, though, as much as the quality is great on the Ioniq, there is a bit of dodgy plastic if you look around.
Same on the Skoda.
Really?
Yeah. It's not a massive deal. The trouble is when you're spending £40,000 plus, you find those little scratchy bits, and you kind of go, oh, it's not things you touch a lot.
Okay. So I went on quality.
Yeah,
what about warranty?
Well, I think the Hyundai wins on this one.
I win again, do I?
The Hyundai wins, not Ginny. That gets a 5-year warranty, and this one only gets 3, but they both get an industry standard 8-year, 100,000 mile battery cover. So, yes, I would say you win. Actually, I'd just say you win.
Okay, but we can't leave it at that, can we? So, should we go for a drive?
I think we should. Can I have a go in that, though?
You have a go in that one. I'm going to refresh my memory with this one.
Let's do it. Do you know what? I've not really been driving this Ioniq 5 for very long, but I am immediately quite impressed. It feels really grown up and like there's a lot of thought been put into it. It's got plenty of performance, it's quick, but it's refined and it's calm and relaxing. It feels like quite a wide car. And certainly when I saw it in the pictures originally, I actually thought this was more of a hatchback sized car, but it's actually massive. It's got a really long wheelbase, short overhangs, so it looks more like a hatch, but actually got masses of interior space.
I think the Enyaq feels just a bit sharper and a bit sportier, which is actually a bit of a surprise. Now, I guess the interior just isn't as funky or as striking as the Ioniq 5, and it certainly isn't packed with quite as many gadgets, but I do think it's a nice place to be, and I think it's also a bit easier to understand. When it comes to performance, I think the Enyaq is really well judged for a family car. I just think it's fast enough. It doesn't feel like it's too quick like some of its rivals. Now, this particular car has got 20-inch wheels on it, which do help with the efficiency. In fact, it is pretty efficient. When we drove it, we averaged around 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. Look, not as good as the claimed ranges, but still, we were happy with that.
And the Ioniq is a really clever car. The charging speeds with that 800-volt architecture are really impressive, and it just makes longer journeys that much more simple. You're getting to the point where if you can find a really fast charger, then you're going to have the convenience of, say, a Tesla driver. That's a big deal.
My worry is that it is just trying too hard. The designers have really thrown everything at it, and then they found a bit more and they threw that at it too. I'm just not sure that it's not going to feel, I don't know, a bit dated. Maybe once the novelty has worn off, you won't love it quite so much.
But you see, I really like weird stuff. And because I'm one of those people that drives really long distances all in one go, faster charging will really add to the convenience. It would actually save me a load of time. And you know what? I'd probably get this on lease. So if it did go out of fashion, I'd just get rid of it in 3 years' time and have something else.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But the Kia EV6 does arrive soon, and that will look a little bit more normal inside and out, and it has all the same clever stuff from the Ioniq, plus it's meant to be a bit sharper to drive too.
And we can't forget the Tesla Model Y. Or you could just have something like the Mustang Mach-E, or wait for the Nissan Ariya.
Oh yes, or a Mercedes EQA, or an e-tron Q4, or a lightly used Jaguar I-Pace.
This is weird, isn't it? I mean, I remember not that long ago when the only credible pure electric cars that you could buy in the British market were probably the Nissan Leaf and the Renault Zoe, and now we've got proper amounts of choice. The
problem with choice, though, is that it means you have to make decisions.
Yes, you do.
So which one of these two would you go for?
I like wacky stuff, and I also think that, you know, the fast charging on this, it would make such a big difference to me because I do lots of long journeys. So I would choose the Ioniq 5 if I could say it without messing it up.
Okay. Oh yeah, the charging capability on that is really tempting. It's just such a game changer. However, I just think as an overall family car, I would probably go for this, mainly because as much as I love loads of things about the Hyundai, I just think it's trying a bit too hard.
I get what you mean, and I actually think that as a proper family car, the Enyaq is probably a better thing. So it's still worthy of our Family Car of the Year award.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Excellent news. So come on then, which of these two cars that end in Q and are both very difficult to say and spell would you go for? Do let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and switch those notifications on.